सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। Welcome to Arsha Vidya Tarangini classes. After a month gap, we are again meeting. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, we have completed up to 15th Sloka. I'll do a quick recap and then go forward. Paramatma dealt with antaranga sadhanani, that is, the immediate preparation to be taken care of just before meditation. There we saw the role of desha, that means choosing the appropriate place. How you can select a place for meditation. What are the requirements of the place of meditation? That was the topic there. Then kalaha. Kalaha is choosing the appropriate time. At what time you can do meditation without any disturbance. This was also discussed. Asanam, fixing the appropriate asanam. In what posture, what asanam one should sit and meditate. So that was discussed. In an appropriate manner, you have to sit and do meditation. So that was the topic there. Then the posture of the body, the sarira sthiti. Then Paramatma also talked about the indriya nigraha, the withdrawal of sense organs from the external world. Paying extra attention to the eyes, sampreksha nasikagram swam. He said that you have to half close your eyes, ardha nimilita netram. So with half closed eyes, you have to look at your tip of the nose. This is not exactly you have to look at the tip of the nose. This is only to show some point of concentration. Eyes are not fully closed, nor fully open. It is partially closed. Then Paramatma also mentioned about prana samyam, which was not the topic of 6th chapter, but at the end of 5th chapter, he dealt with pranayamam and pranasamyam. There is another topic called pranavikshanam, observing the breath. This is also a good practice to have control on prana. The control on prana will give rise to the control of mind. In 5th chapter, we had the sloka, Sparsan krutva bahirbahyan chakshus saivantaro bhruvoh pranapanau samau krutva nasabhyantara charinau. Sparsan krutva bahirbahyan, keeping all your external things to external world only. Leaving all external attachments, external bonding, external topics, external things outside only. Don't bring it to the meditation. Sparsan krutva bahirbahyan, all things you see, all sounds you listen, all these things you have to keep it outside. Chakshuhu shaivantaro bhruvo. Here, Paramatma said you have to concentrate your eyes in the mid of the eyebrows at Ajna Chakram. So this raises a contradiction. When he said that you have to concentrate on the tip of the nose here in the 6th chapter, whereas in the 5th chapter he said you have to concentrate on the Ajna Chakram. So which one is correct? That means the point of concentration is not an important thing. The essence of this is to understand that you have to have a fixed mind. Only thing is you have to have concentration. That is important. Where you look is not an important thing. Otherwise, Paramatma would not have fixed 2 points. Then pranapanu samo krutva nasabhyantara charino. So you have to equalize the prana and apana. That is pranayamam. So you have to regularize the breath. So this regularizing the breath is a very important practice because the pranam and manaha, they are interconnected. If you have a control on prana, you have absolute control on mind. So this was the topic we have covered so far. Now we will go to Sloka 14, which was already discussed, but since a long gap is there, I would like to revise 14 and 15 again. Prasantatma vigatabhihi brahmachari vrate stitaha manas sanyamya machitto yukta asita matparaha. Prasantatma vigatabhihi brahmachari vrate stitaha manas sanyamya machitta matparaha yukta asita. So, what should be the condition of mind? When you are doing meditation, how your mind should be? That is the topic discussed here. So, the mind has disturbances from 2 quarters. One is from the past experiences. We might have regrets, bitterness, anger, irritation, anxiety, and so on, which can surface during meditation. All these attributes will surface during meditation because the mind is full of vasanas or experiences. They remain deep within. When the mind is quiet, all the problems can surface during meditation, whereas they do not surface during day-to-day transaction because the mind is preoccupied. In meditation, when the mind is free from external world, the conscious mind is free now. Therefore, from the subconscious mind, our past experiences can come up and disturb. This is the regrets of the past. Paramatma says we should know how to handle that. Never allow the past to disturb you. From the past experiences, we can learn how to improve. That is a very good practice. In fact, we get maturity from the experiences. But if you do not know how to handle the past, every experience can create a disturbance in the mind. Therefore, having learned from the past experiences, surrender all your experiences unto God. Every painful experience every failure, every insult, all of them you surrender unto God and tell the Lord that you have given those experiences for the inner growth. Every experience is meant for my inner growth only. Therefore, I do not regret. I do not have any anger towards anyone. I do not have hatred towards anyone. I surrender all my past experiences to the Lord. After absorbing the knowledge, we have to do this. Because the past experiences can be twofold. It can do good job, it can do bad job also. Past does good to the person if I am willing to learn from the past and improve myself. At the same time, past can be a burden if I brood. If these experiences trigger bitterness, inferiority complex, guilt, anger, and irritation. If the past experiences generate these negative emotions, the past becomes a dead weight on my shoulders. I will not be able to go forward. Each experience pull me back. We are not to forget that. We also tell this to each and every person. We don't forget this. We don't keep it to ourselves. We tell this to each and everyone and worry a lot. Remember, whenever you hate someone, the sufferer is not the hated one. The sufferer is the hater. You are the sufferer. If you are hating somebody, you are the sufferer. The person whom you hate may not be knowing that you are hating. So he is safe. So that is why you have to hand over all your past experiences unto God. Every pain is only for polishing the mind and bringing more maturity. Thus, I am ready to give up my past burden. I enjoy a free mind. That is called the prasanta Atma. It is like taking a ton of weight which is not useful, which is a dead weight from my mind. So my mind becomes very light. Therefore, give up all regrets over the past. The past is over. You cannot undo the past. Now the next disturbance is not about the past, but about the future. What will happen to my son? What will happen to my daughter, my son-in-law, my grandson? That is the worry about the future. Again, surrender the future unto Lord. Because the past is not in your hand, you cannot rectify, you cannot undo past. Only you can refine your mind to face the future. You cannot unwind the past. Similarly, the future is not known to you. So it is in the storehouse. So there is no point worrying about the future. So all the future, as you surrendered to the Lord, the past, you also have to surrender the future to the Lord. Future is not in your hand. Past is also not in your hand. Agate swagatam kuryat, gachantam nivarayet. So that should be your attitude. So whatever comes, I will accept with Ishvara prasada buddhi. So that should be your preparation. That should be your mental state. If that is your mental state, even if the future is not in favor of you, you will have the readiness and boldness to face the future. So, the worry of future, the worry of the past, keep it at the lotus feet of the Lord, surrender to Him, and keep yourself ready to accept anything as Ishvara Prasadam. So if you have such an attitude, that Ishvara Prasada Buddhi, which is a welcoming attitude, a big burden is taken away from your mind. Such a mind does not have concern regarding the future. It is a relaxed mind. So, Paramatma says, Vigata Bihi, which means a mind without any anxiety, a mind which is free from anxiety, concern, worry. Vigata means given up. They are all given up. What are all given up? Anxiety is given up, worry is given up, concern is given up. So, with such a free mind, a meditator can sit for the meditation and achieve the goal. Therefore, prasantatma vigatabihi. Then what next? Brahmachari vrate sthitaha. Brahmachari vrate sthitaha means Brahmacharyam is defined in several ways, in several contexts. One definition is that Brahma means Vedam, scriptures. Chari means leading the way of life. So, one who leads his life in the study of scriptures is called a brahmachari. So, brahmachari vratestitaha, one who is in the way of learning the scriptures. So, for such person, what type of relation he will have, especially in the Gurukula, when a person is spending his time in the Gurukula, what type of relationship he should have. The Shastra prescribes he can maintain 3 relationships and nothing else. What are the 3 relationships? One with the relationship with Guru, the relationship with God, the relationship with Shastra. So these are the 3 relationships which he has to cherish for good. The other relationships come and go. So he should not worry. He should not have so much of ties for other relationships and worry over them. So the mind is available for the purpose of study. When he has a strong relationship with Shastra, Guru and God, then he has got readiness and refinement for the study of Shastra. So whatever Guru says, he can receive it with open mind. So this is what brahmachari vratestitaha. Then another word is machitto bhava. Machitto bhava means having the relationship confined to God, Guru and Shastra. So he should keep himself occupied with the thought of Lord. Machitto bhava means fix the mind upon the basic relationships, especially with a God, because your relationship with God alone continues janma after janma. The only permanent relationship is with God. All other relationships are temporary. In our preoccupation of the temporary relationships, we lose the sight of the permanent relationship, which is with the God. So, may you invoke God. May you always be with the divine thoughts. So, that is what machitto bhava. Machitto bhava means may you have your mind filled with all divine thoughts. Then yuktāhā bhava. Yuktāhā bhava means with an integrated mind. The mind which is converging. Yuktāhā means which is converging upon the God and Shastra. This converging mind, supposing you imagine a convex lens. What a convex lens does, it converges all the sun rays into a single point. And at that point, a lot of heat is generated. If you keep that point on a piece of paper, it can burn the paper. So, the mind which is converging will have a lot of power. So, if you have a focused mind on Shastra, you can really achieve the Atma Vidya very quickly. So, this is what yuktāhā bhava means, keeping the mind pointed or focused onto Shastra. So, we'll proceed to the 15th sloka. Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasah samtim nirvana paramam matsamstāmadhigacchati. Thus, engaging the mind constantly with a restrained mind, the yogi attains peace, which belongs to me, and which culminates in liberation. Evam sada atmanam yunjan niyatamanasah yogi nirvana paramam mat samstam santim adhigacchati. So how long this should be practiced? This should be practiced consistently, regularly, for a long time. Sadatmanam yunjan. Yogi means meditator. Sadatmanam. Sadatmanam means the mind which is fixed towards the Lord for good. That means you are doing all your day-to-day transaction. Even though you are into your day-to-day transaction, your mind must be, towards God. 24/7, you should think of God at the back of your mind, though you are in day-to-day transaction. So, the mind should be on the divine thoughts. Evam. Evam means like the practice which is prescribed in the previous slokas. So, described before in the previous verse, a meditator should dwell upon the Lord. Now the question is, you are talking about Lord and Lord. What type of Lord? We are pointing to in this particular chapter. So, the scripture presents the Lord in different ways, depending upon the level of the student. Manda, Madhyama, Uttama. Manda means a low category student. At Manda level, which is the first stage, God is a personal God with a particular form like Rama Rupam, Krishna Rupam, Devi Rupam. It is called Eka Rupa Dhyanam, Saguna Ishvara Dhyanam, Eka Rupa Dhyanam. Then at Madhyama level, at the middle level, when you have grown higher from Ekarupa level to Anekarupa level, that is Viswarupa Ishvara. At this stage, the God is the world. Whatever you see, whatever you experience, whatever you encounter, that is all God. So, this is a higher level. So, God is Ekarupam, that is in a favorable shape and favorable name like Ramavataram, Krishna Avataram, Venkateswara, like that, whatever, Sai Baba, whatever you want, that is the Ekarupa Ishvara. The second stage is the world itself is God. Anekarupa Viswarupa. So the entire world is pervaded by God. Therefore, whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you encounter, whatever you experience is all from God. This is a higher stage. There is further higher stage. Both these stages, that Yakarupa Ishvara and Viswarupa Ishvara, both are, Dvaitam only. Because you and the God, they are different. There is one more stage which is called Arupa Ishvara. In this stage, Ishvara is all pervading. He has no name, no form. He is only there. Nothing else is there. So in this stage, both the meditator and the meditated are one. Meditator becomes the meditated. So this is the ultimate stage. Aham Brahma Asmi Tattvamasi. These are the vakyams which prescribe this kind of the penultimate God. So, Atma Samstam, this is the word used in this sloka, which tells that you have to concentrate on the all-pervading God. Atma Samstam Manakrutva Yogi Yunjat. How should we practice this meditation? Yata manasaha, with a self-restraint, that is without any distraction, without any kind of, diversion from the mind. You have to fully concentrate on the God. Then, what will he get? Because the ultimate question is, what will I get? Satatam adhigacchati. What will I get if I concentrate on this type of God? What will I get? Santim adhigacchati. So more the meditation, more peaceful the mind will be. What is the source of peace? Paramatma says, Mat samstam adhigacchati. The peace is coming from the Lord. The peace is coming from the Lord. The Lord is yourself. You are the Lord in the real terms, in the absolute terms. That means the peace is coming within yourself. The outside world will not give you the peace. Outside things will not give you the peace. You are the very source of peace. Mat samstam adhigacchati. So, you have to understand that the peace is within you. The peace is coming from the setup. If you think, what is the problem? When the peace comes from a setup, the problem is whenever the setup is reversed, it becomes upset. So if you think that the peace is outside, the peace is in the people, the peace is in the place, the peace is in the situation, if the setup is not in tune with your expectation, if the things are not in favor of you, the setup becomes upset. So you have to understand that you are the source of peace. You are the very source of peace. So when you understand this, you can have peace within yourself. Tam atmanam ye anupasyanti dhīraha tesham santim sasvati netaresham. One who looks at Atmanam, his own Atma is the source of peace, then he alone can get that the permanent peace. When the peace is coming from outside, it comes and goes. Whereas if you realize that you are the very source of peace, then you need not run around. So with this, Paramatma winds up his Antaranga Sadhanani. Now, in 16th and 17th Slokas, Paramatma is again coming back to Bahiranga Sadhanani. So he says a few more things, he adds a few more things in Bahiranga Sadhana. That is, he talks about moderation in these Slokas. Sloka number 16 we'll see. nātyaśnatastu yogosti na caikāntamanaśnataḥ na cātisvapnāvabodhasya jāgrato naiva cārjuna. He Arjuna, ati asnataḥ tu na yogaha asti. Ekantam anasnataḥ cha na catisvapnāvabodhasya cha na jāgrataḥ cha naiva. Dhyana yoga is possible neither for one who eats too much, nor for one who does not eat at all, neither for one who sleeps too much, nor for one who is ever awake. So he says, the moderation is very important. Moderation in eating. You should not eat too much. If you eat too much, up to the neck if you eat, what happens? You get sleep. When you go to meditation, you go to a deep slumber. Your meditation is not successful. Not only that, if you are in a habit of eating too much, it will spoil your health. So, you have to eat 2 times a day and not more than that. Now what happens? Usually people eat throughout the day. They keep munching something or other. A bucket full of popcorn they keep eating when they sit in front of the TV, and then they keep on eating. That is not prescribed in this Shastra. You should not overeat. Overeating is also dangerous. So regarding eating, Shastra says, Porayet asane ardham trutiye udakena tu vayu samcharanardham chaturdham avaseshayet. Porayet asane ardham. So you have to imagine the stomach into 4 equal parts. So if you are eating, don't fill your stomach fully. Only fill your stomach half. And 1/4 of the stomach you have to fill with water. And remaining 1/4 you have to keep empty, so that the Vaisamcharanardham. That means the airflow will be free, so that the digestion can take place. So this is the rule. In a suktam called Agamarshana Suktam, the Bhakta prays, I ate too much yesterday and incurred lot of papam. So kindly excuse me. So eating too much is also a papam. Eating moderately is the essence of this particular sloka. You have to eat properly and moderately. What to eat and what not to eat, that also will be discussed at a later stage. Here, the moderation is emphasized. Then Paramatma is also saying, don't go to the other extreme, that is doing upavasam too many times. There are people, for every slightest possibility they go to this upavasam, fasting. And that is also not prescribed by Paramatma. Too many upavasams are not good. Both will, create problem. Both will be not good for a spiritual journey. Too much of eating and too much of fasting, both are not good. So this is the moderation. Then we also talked about the sleeping. If you sleep too much, then also you are not good for meditation. A person who is always dozing, he is not a fit person for meditation, because the moment he closes the eyes, he goes into deep slumber. In the similar way, a person who is always awake and sleeps less is also not a right person for meditation. So in this particular sloka, Paramatma cautions about eating and sleeping. You should have moderate eating, you should have moderate sleeping. So that is the requirement for meditation. Then sloka number 17. Yuktāhāravihārasya yuktaceṣṭasya karmasu yuktasvapnāvabodhasya yogo bhavati duḥkhahā. Yuktāhāravihārasya karmasu yuktaceṣṭasya yuktasvapnāvabodhasya yogaha duḥkhahā bhavati. Dhyana yoga becomes the destroyer of the sorrow for one who is moderate in eating and recreation, who is moderate in sleeping and waking, who is moderately engaged in action. So, 4 things are mentioned here. Yuktāhāravihārasya, one who is observing moderation in eating and in recreation. Eating we have already discussed. We have to be moderate in eating. We should not eat too much, nor you should fast. You should be moderate in your eating. How you have to fill your stomach, there is a formula prescribed by the Shastra. Yuktāhāravihārasya. So this viharam means recreation. You should not be engaged too much of recreation. At the same time, no recreation is also bad. If you engage too much of your life in viharam, aharam and viharam, that becomes a charvaka style. Only for engagement and enjoyment, your life will be spent. So, this recreation also must be in a limited way. Now, if you look at the modern marriages, they are not giving any importance to the mantram. They are only giving importance to viharam. They go to some place. Now they called it destination marriage. They call few people and spend lakhs of money on them and spend merrily and come out. Mantram is not there. Mantram is given the least importance. So this way, they spend the time in total enjoyment, forgetting the vihita karma. That is a kind of papam. That is not prescribed in the Shastra. Mantra is thrown away. Mantra is set aside. Only the enjoyment and enjoyment, that is the motive of the destination marriage. So like that, the people spend throughout the life in enjoyment. If they are totally into enjoyment, that is also not good for spiritual progress. They are spiritually, retrogressing. They are not progressing, they are falling down. Yuktāhāravihārasya. You should have moderation in taking food. You should have moderation in recreation. Yuktaceṣṭasya karmasu. Yuktaceṣṭasya karmasu means, see, if you are engaged in action, there also you should have limitation. Some people, they think that they have to do work and walk alone. They call it work is worship. That is okay. Work is worship, nobody denies. But they become workaholic. They don't want to retire. They keep on earning money. They do not know for what they are earning. They only keep doing their job eternally and spend all the time in working and finally die without utilizing this human birth in a judicious way and waste the human birth. So this is also a wrong attitude according to Shastra. Yuktaceṣṭasya karmasu. So you should have moderation in your work. So you have to slowly reduce your mundane activities and increase the spiritual activities more as you progress, as you are, getting advanced in age. You have to get into the divine activity, the spiritual activity. I see some people, they feel proud to say that I don't, have that spiritual bent of mind. They declare with a proud nature. I don't know what kind of pride it is. They are simply missing the bus. So, yuktaceṣṭasya karmasu. You should have moderation in your action. Yuktasvapnāvabodhasya. Yuktasvapnāvabodhasya means you should have moderation in sleeping also. When you sleep, you should have, as per your age, you should sleep enough and then spend the balanced time in the divine thoughts. So, yuktasvapnāvabodhasya. So, one who is awake most of the time is also not good. One who sleeps most of the time is also not good. So, you should have a moderation in sleeping and keeping yourself awake. So, this is what Paramatma says, you should have moderation in everything. So, if you have moderation in everything, what is the advantage? Yogaha duḥkhahā bhavati. So, such a yogi is free from sorrow and worry. So, such a yogi, one who has moderation in all these things, he is free from sorrow. He is free from worries. He is free from anxieties. So, this is what Paramatma is promising. So, one who has moderation in everything will have a free mind to do meditation and achieve the sorrow-free life. So, this is what Paramatma is mentioning. More we will learn in the next class. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om